Good evening, Garden City. I'd like to call to order our regular scheduled council meeting for Monday, August 5th, 2019 at 7 p.m. Our first order of business is our opening ceremony, which consists of the national anthem, followed by a pledge of allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for those service members that have given their lives while defending our country. Would everybody please stand? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Mr. Miller, can you take the roll, please?
Mayor Walker.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Jacobs.
Here.
Councilmember Lynch.
Here.
Councilmember Squires.
Here.
Councilmember Earl.
Here.
Councilmember McCarge has to be absent.
Yeah. Show Councilmember McCart's absent and excused, please.
Thank you. And Councilmember Kerwin.
Here.
Okay, we'll move on to item 4, approval of the agenda as presented.
Mayor,
Councilmember Lynch.
I move for the approval of the agenda for Monday, August 5th, 2019, as presented.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Okay, now we'll move on to item 5, recognition. I'm going to call up the Fire Chief, Kathy Harmon. Promotion for Randall Keene to captain.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and Doc Doherty for City Manager. Tonight is another great night for the Fire Department. We have the opportunity to swear in Lieutenant Randall Keene to Captain. Through a competitive testing process, he became number 1. So in support of that, he has current and former Fire Department members, both on duty and off duty, in addition to a civil service member, former police officer Sammy Morrison, and our Deputy Chief Fire Marshal that was had retired several years ago. Tonight his family is here, so I just want to take a moment to recognize his wife Leon of 20 years, his father Randall Sr., Randy's mother Chris, and his 3 sons are here, Jack, Nick, and Lucas. So Randy, if you would come up, please. And I want to take the moment to let the police department know how touched we are at the fire department that they all came out so that to help us recognize our firefighter promotion. So, Miss Leanne King, would you please come up? And, the judge, I'm sorry.
Judge Hammer?
Judge Hammer, my apologies. I had a minor blip.
That's okay.
No, you can stand there.
To administer the oath, I take this moment, I'm going to change to my robe. There's no easy, uncomfy way to do this. I think it's a very important symbol of the importance of the event. So if you just take a moment here.
Sorry, Leanne. That's okay. My first time.
Now, if I was in the U.S. Supreme Court, I'd have a clerk out here helping me with the robe, but we're just a humble district court. So they can do things. But once again, I'm very honored to be able to do this. It's in recognition of the service of both the police and fire departments and what they've rendered to the city, myself, and my family. So, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, the undersigned Randall Keene, having been duly appointed to the rank of captain of the Garden City Fire Department, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, and the Charter of the City of Garden City, that I will endeavor to secure and maintain an honest and efficient administration of this office, free from partisan distinction or control, and to perform the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
At this time, I'm going to call up the Police Chief, Tim Gibbons, for swearing in of a new police officer, Cody Travis.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. Tonight, yes, we're swearing in a brand-new member. This is Cody Travis. Cody's from South Lyon, Michigan. Attended Western Michigan University, where he received his bachelor's in criminal justice. Cody is also a second lieutenant in the Army National Guard. He is a supervisor, rank of at a military police unit, so pretty appropriate for what we'd be doing here. We're very excited, and I did Cody a favor. I scheduled the swearing in tonight for the same night the lieutenant from the fire department's getting promoted, so I can finally get these guys out of bed to show up in one of our things. But so we do what we can for our new hires. We really do think it's special them showing up. So thank you, fire department. So with that said, I'll have Judge Hammer come up, and Cody, come on up and get sworn in. And then after that, his mother Kathy will be pinning the badge on him.
Officer, is it officially an officer now, or is it officer to be?
We'll call him officer.
Officer. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Cody Travis.
I, Cody Travis,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will uphold and defend
that I will uphold and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution and the laws of the State of Michigan,
the laws and the ordinances of the City of Garden City,
the laws and the ordinances of the City of Garden City,
and I will uphold and abide by
and I will uphold and abide by
the rules and regulations,
the rules and regulations,
as well as all others, be they general, special, or otherwise,
as well as all others, whether it be
general, special, or otherwise,
general, special, or otherwise,
of the Garden City Police Department,
of the Garden City Police
to
Department,
the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
that I will not,
at
any time lend,
lend,
advise,
advise,
aid, or succor
aid, or succor
any organization
any organization
known or suspected
known or
of
suspected
having subversive tendencies,
of having subversive tendencies,
nor will I in any way
nor will I in any way
affiliate myself
affiliate myself
with any such organization.
with any such
So
organization.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay, Chief?
All right, Mr. Mayor, also tonight, we're going to be honoring our Police Officer of the Year, Sergeant Tom Palaccio. Mayor, if you could come up.
Sergeant Thomas Palaccio joined the Garden City Police Department in 2007. Throughout his career, Sergeant Palaccio has served with courage and dedication. He has worked tirelessly to make Garden City a safer community. While performing as a road patrol officer, Sergeant Palaccio was a leader in fighting drunk and drugged driving, often leading the department in drunk and drugged driving arrests. In 2015, Sergeant Palaccio received a life-saving award for his efforts at a fire in Westland retirement home. During the incident, he risked his life by entering an apartment to evacuate residents while the building was fully engulfed in flames. As a detective sergeant, Palaccio has diligently investigated and solved numerous cases, brought individuals responsible for theft and violence to justice. Sergeant Palaccio is also an ALICE trainer. ALICE is an acronym for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Evacuate, and is taught as a method for how civilians can respond if an active shooter incident occurs in their workplace, school. Sergeant Palaccio took it upon himself to develop a program to teach Garden City churches, schools, and businesses, ALICE, and work with them to develop plans on how to respond to various emergencies. He has approached this task with great dedication, enthusiasm, and skill, which has made the program extremely successful. Because of his dedication to the program, they have taught ALICE to nearly all Garden City schools and a significant number of its churches and businesses. Garden City is a safer community because of the actions of Sergeant Palaccio. For these reasons, Sergeant Palaccio is recognized as Garden City Police Officer of the Year. Senator Betty Jean Alexander, our state senator, also wants to give him something. Senator?
I would just like to say congratulations, and we have a special tribute from the Michigan Senate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to recess to take some photos, so we'll go into recess. Okay, at this time, we'll call the meeting back to order. We have no presentations. We'll move on to comments from county, state officials. I see we have Lisa Hicks Clayton, the liaison for Senator Betty Jean Alexander. You can turn that towards us.
All right. Thank you, Mayor and City Council, City Manager, City Clerk, Treasurer, everyone. Good evening. Again, Lisa Hicks Clayton, Community Liaison for Senator Betty Jean Alexander's office. We're excited to announce our joint town hall meeting with Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel and State Representative Joelle Jones on Monday, August 26th at 2 p.m. The location is the Booker T. Dozier Recreation Center, which is 2025 Middlebelt Road in Inkster. This is open to everyone. We would hope everyone would join us. We want to share this information and get it out. We have flyers coming soon, and we'll have that posted for everyone. This will be a listening session for elder abuse and any concerns related to our aging population and demographic. And as you may be aware, Attorney General Dana Nessel has a task force for elder abuse. They're going to share their findings, some of the complaints and concerns from throughout the state of Michigan that have been revealed through this task force. But most importantly, what we want to do is hear your experiences, things that maybe you've experienced in your own neighborhood or your community. And we had one recently in Detroit, and I will tell you, it was standing room only, which is really very sad when there's so many stories of elder abuse and neglect. And I think that's really a shame, because society will be judged and determined, its character is determined by how it treats its most vulnerable, including its elderly. So we want to invite all of you to come join us on that date, on Monday, August 26th, again, 2 p.m. at the Booker T. Dozier Center on Middlebelt Road in Inkster. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see anybody else here. We'll move on. We have no community events tonight, no petitions, communication, no public hearing. Move on to item 11, consent agenda.
Mayor,
Councilmember Lynch.
I move for the approval of the consent agenda, item 11A, 1 through 4.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Squires. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 6-0. Move on to item B, our action item. The first item is fiscal year 2019-20 sewer rate amendment. City Manager Doherty.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is a topic we've talked about at the last number of meetings. Part of the discussion became, is it fixed cost or consumption cost? How should we break down this cost that we're getting from River Rouge system through Wayne County? They were to have somebody at our last meeting. They unfortunately didn't show up. They are going to be at August 19th's meeting. A couple of people, especially the finance people that put the numbers together, because we said we really like to have more of an explanation of exactly how the numbers came about. We're not expecting much of a change with the numbers itself, as we discussed. The construction that an engineer came to talk to us a couple of months ago about, it looks like it's $1.39 on average, $1.39 per month per user of water. But there is the increase of $4.04 on top of that per month, $4.04, because 16 communities now has become 13 communities. So overall, our consortium that we had, there were 16 communities, 3 townships left. We are down to 13. There's still a lot of fixed costs. So since 3 of, as I say, our roommates left, our cost has gone up to pay our mortgage. So we're looking at $4.04 on average per month for the increase, and then $1.39 per month for an increase in the construction. Our recommendation to the council tonight is to move forward with the construction of $1.39 a month as a fixed cost, that everybody in the community benefits from the same construction and replacement. But the $4.04 per month, which is an increase now because of 3 communities leaving our consortium, that should be done on a consumption base. And legally, it looks like we'd have to do that anyway as a consumption base. Similar to when we talked about doing the road millage, we talked about having an assessment per house. Unfortunately, legally, if they didn't receive a new road in front of their house, we cannot charge them for a new road. So we went to the bond issue, which was a voted millage, so that everybody was able to make a determination if they want to pay for roads, whether they have a road in front of their house or not. In this situation, If we went with a fixed cost for the $4.04 across the board, as been discussed at several meetings, someone that may only need to use 1 unit of water would have to pay for 10 units of water, just so we have a fixed cost, which legally you can't charge somebody for something that they're actually not receiving. But the construction part of $1.39, everybody's benefiting from the construction of the new underground piping or any system that's involved. That can be a fixed cost. So back and forth on some of these meetings of which way should go with this. It looks like the most efficient and proper way would be $4.04 per month on average. If you use a lot less water, it's not going to be the $4 increase. If you use a lot more, like the mayor with his 3 swimming pools and 4 jacuzzis that he mentioned earlier, then his cost would be much higher than everybody else. So that is the fair way to go. And then the $1.39 would be construction cost. Everybody shares in the same. So as I said, we're looking to just pass this at this point. We know what the costs are. We're asking Wayne County, who claims they will be here on August 19th for sure, a couple of people to really get into the deep dive of the numbers. And as mentioned by a couple of council people, we can go either way over time here. This is on average. So if there's a lot less usage, we can go down a little bit, we can go up. Depends on where we go to the future here. But at this point, we'd like to move forward and make a decision and then still have some discussion next meeting when Wayne County is available to be here.
Okay, motion's in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Jacobs.
I move to approve the amendment to Garden City Code of Ordinances, Section 53.04 of Chapter 53, Title 5 of the City of Garden City Code, providing for rates and charges for sewer service to include the cost improvements to the Rouge Valley sewer system.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Lynch. I agree that we're doing the right thing, and the fixed cost on the construction and the consumption on the other, so I think it's a good thing. Any other comments from the table?
I do, Mayor. And I wanted to do it now as opposed to waiting a couple more weeks till the Wayne County mayor may not show up, only because we know we're getting billed for it, so we have to pay for it. And like Mr. Doherty said, if at the next meeting or when they get here, they say it's going to be cheaper, we can always refund that money. But if it's more, we're already paying it. So that's why I wanted to do it tonight.
And we've been paying this increase since July 1st, so that's another reason why we need to pass it. Anybody else from the table? From the general public? Yes, sir.
My name's John Murray, live on Lather Street. We are in a bind, I see that. But my question is these 3 cities that are getting out, isn't there something we can do? I mean, there's got to be some sort of legal ramifications. You just can't walk away after they've used it. And I'm just wondering, have you contacted anybody about taking some sort of action? Have we, as a bunch of cities, gotten into the county to force the county to make them follow it? I just don't, I guess my head's real thick on this. I just don't understand how you can just walk away from a system you've been using for the last 50 years. Is there any way someone can explain that to me?
Again, this is your opportunity to make a comment or statement. We
I
don't go
mean,
back and forth.
I'm just asking
The
if there's
city,
somewhere
leave your
I
name and
can
number,
go.
and the city manager will get back with you.
I mean, okay, I mean,
He may answer it at the end of the night on a roundtable, but this is just your opportunity to make a
I
comment or statement.
understand that. I'm just saying that I feel frustration for you, and I think it's not fair, especially for senior citizens, where $4 more every 2 months is, you know, an impact.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Molnar?
I guess I understand that you have to do it, but I got a question that I think the county ought to answer before I give them another nickel. The 3 people that left, that means we're no longer going to be processing their sewage, so it's got to reduce the charge at the plant that they're processing. And where did that money go? Because I don't think they're going to lower my sewage rates any, even though they're going to get a lower rate when they go to the plant to process it. So I think Wayne County is, well, I don't want to say too much. But anyway, I just wish there was some way we could withhold the money from them until they do explain it. I'm not saying don't charge it, because I don't want to wind up with a big bill in a couple of months. But could we put the money in an escrow account until Wayne County tells me what we're doing with your money? why they're not reducing their sewage rates when they're gonna have a reduced sewage treatment at the plant. I don't get it. I mean, they're robbing me, and I'm being told there ain't nothing I can do. That's crazy. I'm getting robbed. It's out and out thieves. That's what they are. Because they have to, Canton is a lot bigger than us, so that's gonna be a lot more reduction on the sewage that's being treated at the treatment plant. So there's gotta be a reduction in cost to Wayne County. I don't know if they do their own sewage, or they do it through the Detroit, or I guess it's the Wayne County, whatever they call it now. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Mayor? I'll answer. The,
Mr. Doherty?
yes, thank you, Mayor. Actually, the two gentlemen bring up the 2 points that I have the most question about that we're going to discuss at the next meeting, is the question of, was there anything in the contracts by those other communities if they leave? Is there anything owed back? As Mr. Murray questioned and Mr. Molnar, his question is perfect, and why we're asking finance people to be here and not the engineer who is here to explain the construction at the next meeting, is the question of if the fixed costs are fixed for 16 communities, does that number change for 13 communities? Is the $4 we're talking about increase, is that a good number? Should it have been 6, but it's been reduced, or should it be 2? And what he brought up, both gentlemen, is exactly what our questions are at this point. So I hope at the next meeting that the county will be able to explain some of that to us. So,
Okay.
perfect.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 6-0. Go to item 2, 2019 chip seal program. City Manager Doherty.
Yes, Mayor, this is something that the council saw a few meetings ago, a couple meetings ago. We're moving forward on the chip seal. Residents also saw it in their water bill. Those that are receiving their water bill in the next week or two will also see a map of the community. There's miles, numerous miles of roadway that's going to be chip sealed. Right now, some of the roads are actually being spray patched to fill in some divots here and there. Then they're going to come through with the chip seal across the top. There are 3 roads that we wanted to add at this point. It is Rush Avenue from Hubbard Avenue to Merriman, and Garden Avenue from Ford Road to Maplewood, and Hartel Avenue from Ford Road to Maplewood. Now, these aren't the final roads that will ever need to be done, but for the ending of the season, we thought these 3 roads should be added into this year's project. We're going to be regrouping in the next month and a half, as we start to prepare for next year's roads that are going to be bid out through November, December, and the process starts again by April, being back on the roads for major work, concrete sectioning, as well as even some more of this chip seal. So tonight's request is just to add these 3 more locations to this year's contract, which chip sealing, I believe, starts in the next week or two for those that we already approved.
Okay, motion's in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Squires.
I move to approve change order number 1 for the 2019 chip seal program, adding 3 additional streets to the 2019 chip seal program in an amount not to exceed $66,150.
Support. Support from Councilmember Kerwin. Any comments from the table?
Mr. Doherty, if I remember right, this is all coming out of Act 51
Yes.
money and not out of the bond money,
Yes,
right?
this is not road money, this is actually Act 51, so the 15 million is not part of this project, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? We're fixing the roads, folks. We're getting there. From the general public, Mr. Molnar.
I'll jump up to jump on it, and I'll also jump up to tell all of you, you hit a home run with that chip seal. You're doing a great job on them roads, and you're getting them repaired, and I know the people appreciate it. And I'm glad to see you went this route and fixed the ones that could be fixed, even if it is for a short period or 10 years. But you did a great job, and you deserve credit for it.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Item 3, generator for Maplewood Lift Station. I'm going to bring up Mr. Omen, the DPS Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is to approve the purchase of an emergency backup generator for our Maplewood Sanitary Sewer Lift Station, which is on the corner of Inkster and Maplewood, right by the hospital. This lift station serves part of the northeast corner of our city, pumping the sanitary sewer. This is actually a budget-approved item that was put out for bid, and we did receive 4 bids. This is going to be replacing a 1994 generator.
Okay. Councilmember Lynch? Thank you, sir.
I move to approve the purchase of a generator for the Maplewood Lift Station from CRG Electric LLC of Belleville, Michigan, in an amount not to exceed $31,308.34.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Kerwin. Any comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 6-0. I'm going to bring up Mr. Plamondon, Parks and Rec Director, for the purchase of backup Olympia ice resurfacer.
Good evening. I too have a piece of equipment that is from 1994 that requires replacement. Before you tonight is the purchase, or I should say a letter to the city manager requesting authorization to purchase a 2010 used Olympia ice resurfacer, commonly known as a Zamboni. Our current backup is a 1994, which has served us well, but continues with time to be ineffective. And tonight we ask for permission to move forward with the purchase of a backup, a reliable backup.
Okay. This is money we had in capital improvements in the budget?
Correct.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yep, go ahead.
I move to approve the purchase of a refurbished Olympia ice resurfacer from Iceman Arena, Inc. of McChesney Park, Illinois, with a down payment of $25,000, and to authorize the Parks and Rec Director to execute all necessary purchasing documents.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Earl. Any comments from the table?
I have one, and Mr. Plamondon or Doc, I know we just had a Parks and Rec meeting, and I think this is one of the things that should have been brought up. I mean, we knew about it in advance, and I think our commissions and boards should be notified when we're making purchases and doing stuff within those parameters. So I would have liked to have seen them know about this. That's all. Thank you.
Any other comments from the table? From the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 6-0. This time, we'll go to public comments for items that were not on the agenda. If you wish to speak, come up to the podium, state your name. It's a 3-minute time limit. This is your opportunity to make a comment or a statement, not the time to go back and forth with council members. Mr. Werhane.
A week from tomorrow, the library will be having an open house. The architect for our new building, or the design for the new building, will be making a presentation. And the general public is invited to show up and make comments.
What's the date and time again?
On the 13th at 7 p.m. The library board will meet an hour earlier at 6 p.m. And it'll be at the library.
Okay.
And on a minor item, 90 years ago today, I was a one-day-old baby.
There you go.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Anybody else?
John Murray, it's easy to come up here and criticize and all that other kind of stuff. What my concern is we know the wheels of justice grind very slowly. Bigger problem we have is progress in our government at times I think is in reverse. And it's not because of the people here, it's because of the consequences we suffer with monetary issues. So I'd like to propose something that's going to come off very sour, but if you really look at it, it might work. Right now on Lather Street, where I live, GFL comes down that street 6 times on Tuesday to remove trash. So I would suggest, why not make it no parking on one side, put your trash and recyclables on that side, and then they'll be able to go down one time, and that would save 2 trips. So that would be 1/3 their costs. So hypothetically, let's say it's $30 million for our total trash. You eliminate 2 of them, that gives you $10 million. $10 million equates to 10 miles of road. Is it going to be easy to implement? There's going to be a lot of repercussion, fight back on it. But it beats taking more money out of our pocket. It's finding money somewhere in the system. And I think the progress could reward us. I don't know how we'd go about doing it. I know I've talked to some people and they sort of like, but we need to make sacrifices if we want to make improvements. And we have to look at, like in the southwest part of our city, the subdivisions there were built in the late 50s and 60s. Nothing's been done in that area. Eventually, they're going to start falling apart. So we got to find some way within the resources we already gather to implement it for these roads. And I tell you what, in the northeast corner, I one day somehow turned down there. I thought it turned into a time machine. It reminded me of when I grew up in this town where all we had was blacktop and ditches. And that's where that part of town's still at. We need to help those people too. So I don't know how you'd go about implementing this, but I think it's something we ought to all look at. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Mr. Plamondon.
We are 12 days away from the Bacon Run. I just want to take a quick minute to notify those on council and those in attendance and those at home about the road closure notices that went out. I know Chief Gibbons was here about a month ago with the road closure notification, but I'm going to leave these for council to share. But there will be temporary road closures on Saturday, August 17th between 7 o'clock and 11 o'clock a.m. There will be a permanent road closure during the race with no vehicles parked on the street on Bach between Merriman and Shotcut between those hours. The reason for that is because on the race, on the route, runners are going in 2 directions. So, but we are still taking registration. We're almost at 300 runners right now. So we're anticipating anywhere between 400 to 500. We have 50 volunteers that have signed up. I'd like to thank all the folks that have committed to do that and a number of the rec commissioners that have also stepped up and those that have reached out if they could or could not. I do appreciate the communication on that. But there is still time to register. You can register online or at the Parks and Rec office, including up until race morning. We will take registration on race morning. There is a slight fee increase, but we are looking forward to a great event. Got lots of sponsorship, some goodies after the race with the new Dirty D's barbecue that's hopefully going to be opening a business here in town soon. We're handing out free bacon samples, and we're going to have the fire station or fire department on site as well, possibly doing some interacting stuff with the kids. So it'll be a good time for all. So if any questions, call Parks and Rec 793-1882.
Thank you, Mr. Plamondon. Anybody else? City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just recognizing the people earlier today that we recognize there. It's nice to see veterans still moving in their career, moving up and being recognized as Officer of the Year, as well as always seeing the, God, they seem younger and younger, don't they? The newest officer, Cody, going into public safety. That's just great for the community, and it's good to see people early in their career also. So congratulations to those guys. I have nothing else.
Okay. Councilmember Kerwin?
I'm just going to congratulate everybody who's promoted, who's sworn in today, and that's all I have.
Okay. Councilmember Lynch?
Yes, I too would like to congratulate Randy, Cody, and Tom for their promotions, and to Cody for joining the Garden City Police Department. And I just want to remind people, tax bills are due a couple more weeks, so if you haven't already paid it, make sure it's on the schedule to make sure it's paid. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Miller, you got anything?
I have nothing this evening.
Okay. Councilmember Earl?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. The Garden City Business Alliance is hosting the Music in the Park, August 22nd. It's from 6 to 9. It's free music. You can show up. They're going to have food trucks and vendors. I've been the last couple years. It's a great event. Just come hang out, bring your lawn chairs, bring a cooler, and enjoy some really good music. They do a great job. They do a food drive for the Garden City Pantry, so bring your canned goods. It'll be a great time. I hope to see a lot of people there. Last year almost seemed like it doubled, so keeps building. Congratulations to Captain Keen, new Officer Travis, and Sergeant Placcio. And I'd like to give a great job and attaboy to both Chief Gibbons and Chief Harmon. You guys keep finding these great officers, you keep promoting the right people, and it's great for the community. They're doing a phenomenal job, so keep it up. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Squires?
Yeah, just my congratulations to Cody and Captain Keen and Officer Placcio. And then I have on Monday at the movies, presented by the Garden Theater and the Maplewood Senior Center, on Monday, August 19th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Maplewood Senior Center gym. There'll be free popcorn, water, and snacks, and this is a free event for seniors. And if you'd like to call and reserve your seat, you can call at 734-793-1870. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Jacobs?
Just a couple things. One, I'd also like to congratulate everyone today. Like Mr. Doherty said, it sure seems like they're getting younger and younger coming on, but good for them. Means they get out sooner. Also, I want to thank the American Legion. They had their post-picnic yesterday. Great event. A lot of veterans there. That was good to see. Also, our fire department happened to be coming by, and they stopped and showed the trucks and ambulance off to mostly kids, but some adults that were very interested too. So thank them for taking the time and good public relations for them to take the time and do it when they didn't have to. Mr. Doherty, I think it was probably before you got here, the property on Cherry Hill that we rezoned for the residential, right next to the church, Good Hope Lutheran, do we have any progress or anything on that I know we rezoned it and it's sat there and done nothing, and I know the church at one time was kind of in a hurry, or not a hurry, but, they thought it was a good idea and was looking to get the money and proceeds from it. We've done nothing, seen nothing.
I've heard nothing about it. I'll check out and
Okay,
report
please.
back to you, for sure.
Please, thank you. And that's about it. Thank you.
Okay. City Manager, do you want to give an update for the residents on the progress on McDonald's?
Oh, yes, thank you, Mayor, for reminding me.
I got your back.
No, that's great. You can take it if you'd like to run with it.
No, go ahead.
Unfortunately, we had some utility issues. I believe we mentioned at one of the last meetings that DTE, McDonald's was waiting 6 months at this point. We just had a recent meeting, about 12 people in the parking lot down there. Nobody was offering any Big Macs, so I had to go get my own. But it was DTE, AT&T, Comcast, everybody was there. So they're looking to try to move as fast as they can now that they're finally getting approval. A big discussion was how do they close down the current McDonald's and open up a new one without being closed too long. Their concern was the overhead wiring, underground wiring, and such. So as the mayor pressured them a number of times, saying we expect it to be open as soon as possible. It needs to be open. It should have been open this summer, as we told the residents it was going to be. At this point, they're looking at trying to do major construction this fall. Not sure if it'll be open before Christmas time. At this point, they may push it into early spring, but at least major construction will be going on. People will see it happening. So it's coming, just a lot longer than we thought it was going to be. 9 months off track, at least at this point. But it seems like finally everybody's lined up, ducks are in a row to move forward, so then we can have Big Macs.
Yeah, the power right now is overhead, and the power for the new McDonald's is going to be all underground. And they also had to get Rite Aid's permission, because the transformer
Yes.
is on the Rite Aid property, and they're going to go underground and tie into that same transformer. So that's what's taken so long, and now DT says it takes them 6 weeks to schedule the utility work. So I said, really? So that's where we're at. We're still going to get a new
That's coming.
McDonald's, but it's the utilities that's holding us up now. As you know, we've been seeing a lot of road work. Myself, as well as council and the city manager, are not happy with the progress on Maplewood. We got all over the contractor the last couple weeks. We're starting to see progress. They poured the one side of Maplewood, so hopefully the other side will get poured this week. But the roads are getting done, not as quick as we would like on some of them, but we would remember these contractors when we give out work next year, which ones did a good job and stayed in the city and kept moving, and those that started and took off and then came back and took off and come back. We will remember when we hand out contracts next year. So, and we've told them that from the start. We expect once you start to stay on the job till it's finished. So definitely not happy with Maplewood, but Maplewood is going to get done, and we'll remember the contractors that are involved. Congratulations to Captain Keen on his promotion, Officer Travis on getting sworn in tonight, and our Police Officer of the Year, Sergeant Palacio. That's all I have. No further business. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you.